This is the kind of coin story that stops collectors in their tracks. Because every so often, a piece of American change slips through the cracks of history and becomes a silent millionaire maker. And today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious sleepers of them all, the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. A coin so ordinary that millions of Americans spent it without a second thought, yet so extraordinary that the finest known examples have shocked the market with reported sales soaring as high as $444,000. And according to collectors who swear by its hidden errors and rare surviving conditions, some believe this coin could reach values deep into the millions. Imagine holding a small brown cent that looks like every other penny from the 1960s, only to discover it's one of the rarest production anomalies ever to slip out of the US Mint. Imagine finding it in a forgotten jar, in an old dresser, or in a box from your grandparents. That tiny moment of curiosity, just flipping that coin over, could change everything. Because what happened during 1965 at the Mint is one of the most chaotic, misunderstood, and opportunity-filled events in U.S. coinage history. This story begins with a crisis. In the early 1960s, the United States faced a nationwide coin shortage. Millions of Americans were hoarding silver coins, the Mint was scrambling to keep up with demand, and production was pushed into overdrive. So overdrive, in fact, that from 1965 through 1967, the Mint made a radical decision. They removed mint marks entirely. No Denver D. No San Francisco S. No clear way to know where a coin came from. This was meant to discourage hoarding, but instead, it set the stage for one of the most chaotic minting periods ever seen. And chaos always leaves clues. Some coins struck during this era came out with unexpected anomalies. Planchet mistakes, misaligned dies, hub doubling, weak strikes, transitional oddities. And among the millions of coins produced at lightning speed, a tiny handful emerged with errors so dramatic, so out of place, that their existence has become almost legendary. This is where the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent steps into the spotlight. Because while most of these pennies were perfectly ordinary, the rare high-grade survivors, the ones preserved by pure accident, are anything but. Most 1965 cents are heavily worn and worth pocket change. But the rare few that escaped circulation, preserved in sharp, almost flawless condition, have stunned collectors. The highest graded examples, the ones that look like they were struck yesterday, have commanded jaw-dropping prices. One such example shocked the market when it reportedly reached $444,000, sending a wave of disbelief through the coin world. But why? Why would a coin made by the millions suddenly become a treasure worth more than a Ferrari? Because not all 1965 cents are equal. And some hide secrets that even seasoned collectors overlook. Picture this: a coin struck so sharply that every line of Lincoln's coat looks hand-carved. A coin where even the tiniest design elements are crisp, bold, and perfectly centered. These ultra-high-grade examples didn't survive because someone saved them carefully. They survived because of flukes, roll errors, mint bag mistakes, forgotten stashes, and untouched government sets. And once discovered, they transformed into lightning rods of collector demand. But condition isn't the only key to unlocking this coin's true potential. Let's talk errors. Because 1965 was a perfect storm for mistakes. Some 1965 cents are known for doubled dies, subtle shifts in the lettering that create a layered, ghost-like effect on phrases like Liberty or In God We Trust. Others show dramatic die deterioration, creating a rippled, almost vibrating look to the details. There are weak strikes, where details vanish mysteriously, and strong strikes, where lines appear sharper than any coin of the era should realistically show. And then there are the whispers. The shadowy reports of transitional planchet errors, coins struck on leftover metal intended for earlier years. These coins, if verified, would rewrite the value chart entirely. A true transitional error from this era could push deep into seven-figure territory, because it would represent a minting accident so rare that only a handful could logically exist. Now imagine being the first person to find one. Collectors talk about 1965 as the Wild West of mid-century coin production. The Mint was switching metals, updating machinery, replacing equipment, experimenting with dies, and running presses around the clock. When a system is pushed that hard, imperfections slip through. Not thousands. Not hundreds. Dozens. Maybe fewer. And that scarcity is the heartbeat of the 1965 cents mystery. Because let's face it, a coin doesn't reach $444,000 unless something about it is extraordinary. Something about it defies the math of mintages and the expectations of collectors. Something makes it stand out like a beacon in a sea of ordinary change. And the 1965 cent does exactly that. Here's the real question: how many more of these hidden gems are out there? Because the truth is this: most Americans have never even checked their older pennies. Most jars, drawers, and closets full of change are still untouched from decades ago. And that means the opportunity is still alive. You could be one careful glance away from discovering a coin nobody has seen in half a century. Let that sink in. A 2-centimeter piece of copper that could outperform the stock market, beat out gold, and outshine entire collections. A coin minted during one of the most frantic periods in U.S. history, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a little curiosity. And the beauty of the 1965 cent is that its value isn't locked behind impossible requirements. You don't need a microscope to spot certain errors. You don't need a coin lab to notice condition. Sometimes all it takes is good lighting and a moment of patience. Tilt the coin. Look at the letters. Study Lincoln's profile. Check the rim. Look for doubling. Look for misalignment. Look for sharpness or weakness. Anything that feels out of place might be the beginning of an astonishing discovery. Collectors know this rule well. When the mint rushes, opportunities rise. 1965 was one of the biggest rush jobs in U.S. coinage history. And anything produced under pressure becomes unpredictable. That unpredictability is why high-end collectors chase these coins with such intensity. They're hunting history. They're hunting mistakes. They're hunting the handful of survivors that shouldn't exist in the condition they're found. But here's the twist: the biggest treasures are rarely discovered by experts. They're discovered by ordinary people who simply pay attention. A retiree sorting through old coffee cans. A veteran going through estate boxes. A young collector checking their father's change jar. A garage sale enthusiast whose curiosity leads them to one dusty old envelope. One day, nothing. The next day, a 6-figure coin. And every time a new discovery hits the market, the value of surviving high-grade 1965 cents climbs higher. Because supply doesn't increase. It shrinks. Coins get locked into private collections. They vanish from circulation. They move quietly between investors and auction houses. The public hears the stories, but they don't always realize how accessible those stories really are. So consider this your sign. If you've ever wondered whether rare coins truly life-changing possibilities, the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is your answer. It's proof that treasures still hide in plain sight. Proof that history still rewards those who dig just a little deeper. Proof that in a world filled with uncertainty, opportunity can still be as simple as checking a penny. And here's the moment every collector waits for: the climactic truth. Somewhere out there is another flawless 1965 cent. Another high-grade survivor. Another error hiding under decades of dust. Another coin that could break past the $444,000 mark and push toward numbers people once thought impossible. And someone, somewhere, is going to find it. Why not you? This is the time to check your jars. Your boxes. Your pockets. Your forgotten rolls and old collections. Because the next $1 million coin story isn't a fantasy, it's waiting to be discovered. And maybe, just maybe, the next great treasure of American coinage is already sitting in your home, quietly waiting for the right pair of eyes. This coin should never have been worth more than a single cent. It was supposed to be ordinary, invisible, forgotten in a pocket or lost in a drawer. Yet one collector's find shattered that belief forever, when an unassuming 1984 Lincoln cent with no mint mark triggered a bidding frenzy, and climbed to a jaw-dropping $344,000. And here's the part that still shocks collectors today: that record wasn't a fluke. Some experts now say the right 1984 no mint mark cent, with the right hidden error, could be worth far more, even pushing into the realm of millions. Imagine holding a penny that could change your entire life. The question is simple: could you have one of these in your home right now? Most people walk past pennies without a second glance. But not you. Not today. Because what's hidden inside the 1984 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is a story of a minting mistake so subtle, so rare, that most Americans have never noticed it, yet those who do can walk away with fortunes. But let's rewind for a moment. Because the origin of this coin reads like the beginning of a mystery that kept even seasoned collectors awake at night. In 1984, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was mass-producing Lincoln Memorial cents. Nothing unusual. Billions of coins. A normal year, or so everyone thought. But somewhere in the chaos of production, something slipped. A die cracked, shifted, or was machined just slightly out of alignment. Maybe it was a rush setup. Maybe it was a worn die sent back into service. The truth is still debated. What we do know is this: one microscopic mistake created a tiny doubling on one specific area of the coin. A doubling so crisp, so dramatic on some examples, that when magnified, it almost looks like a second world shadowing the first. It appears on a single place on the design, the earlobe of Abraham Lincoln. A doubled ear. That's the secret that turned a penny into a treasure. But here's the twist that electrified the coin world. Not all 1984 pennies have this doubling, and even among the ones that do, only a tiny fraction were struck clean enough to show the detail clearly. Scarcity collided with demand, and suddenly, the chase was on. Collectors flipped rolls open by the tens of thousands. Dealers started making calls. Auction houses began whispering about the few pristine survivors. And then, the sales started. One coin, almost perfectly preserved, shocked everyone when it blasted past expectations and soared to that legendary price of $344,000. A penny. Selling for more than a house. But what happened next stunned even the optimists. Other examples started showing up, still rare, still hard to find, but convincing enough that collectors began to ask the dangerous question: if a near-perfect specimen can reach hundreds of thousands, what would a flawless, absolutely perfect, museum-quality example sell for? Some began estimating numbers that sounded impossible. 6 figures. High 6 figures. Even 7. A penny worth over $1 million? It sounds like fantasy, until you consider the role errors have played in past sales. Tiny mistakes have produced world record prices before. Why not this one? Now here's where this story turns from curiosity to urgency, because the 1984 double-ear penny hides in plain sight. It's not a proof coin. It's not a low mintage issue. It's a Philadelphia cent with no mint mark, meaning hundreds of millions of regular, everyday Americans have handled one of these at some point without realizing it. So let me ask you this: when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your jar? Not just glanced, really looked, because this particular coin has a habit of showing up in the most unexpected places. Thrift store change jars. Old coffee cans. The corner slot of a decades-old dresser. Estate boxes filled with random coins nobody bothered to check. One story tells of a man who bought a small jar of coins at a yard sale for a couple of dollars. He brought it home, dumped it on the table, and something caught his eye. A 1984. He grabbed a magnifier. And there it was, clear, doubling on the earlobe. That penny, in high grade, sold for thousands. And that jar cost him less than a cup of coffee. But here's the part that people overlook: it's not just the doubling that gives this coin its power. It's the condition. A 1984 double-ear cent in worn condition may still bring a nice premium. But the coins that change lives are the ones preserved by accident. The ones that somehow avoided pockets, machines, dirt, heat, circulation, and time. The ones that sat tucked away, untouched. Those coins, in mint-state grades, especially in the highest categories, are the ones investors chase with open wallets. Those are the coins that auction houses prepare for. Those are the coins that ignite bidding wars. And here's the cliffhanger: the highest graded examples are disappearing into private collections. Once a coin like this lands in a major investor's vault, It rarely comes back to the public market for decades. So imagine what that does to the price of the ones that are still out there. They're not just rare, they're vanishing. Now let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're holding an ordinary 1984 cent. You tilt it under the light, not expecting much. You put it under a magnifier and bring the lens close. And then, you see something. A shadow. A second contour on Lincoln's ear. A tiny doubling that wasn't supposed to exist. Your heart speeds up. You check again. You tilt the coin. The doubling is still there. Could it be? Did you just find the coin that people dream about? That's the magic of this story. Anyone can find one of these. Anyone could be holding a six-figure treasure without knowing it. Anyone, including you, could stumble onto a penny that transforms into a life-changing moment. And here's the real shocker. The supply of unsearched 1984 coins is enormous. But the supply of untouched, high-grade double-deer examples is microscopic. Most have long since been spent, worn down, mixed into billions of coins, or destroyed by time. But the survivors are still out there. Maybe in your home. Maybe in your old change jar. Maybe in the coin rolls sitting at the bottom of a cabinet. Maybe in the pockets of a coat you haven't worn in years. This is why collectors talk about the 1984 double-deer cent with such passion. It's not just another era coin. It's a symbol of possibility. Proof that even in the most ordinary places, treasure is hiding, quiet, patient, waiting for the right pair of eyes. And this brings us to the final, crucial question: what should you look for? The doubling appears right at the base of Lincoln's ear. A second, clearly defined shape, almost like an extra ridge or an echo of the earlobe. Under magnification, it's unmistakable. It looks like a ghost image, bold, crisp, and separate from the original design. Find that, and you're looking at something special. Something rare. Something potentially worth thousands, tens of thousands, or, if lightning strikes and you have the perfect example, hundreds of thousands or more. So as this story comes to a close, let the message sink in. Treasures don't always shine. Sometimes they hide in plain sight. Sometimes they're small enough to fit on the tip of your finger. Sometimes they're made of copper, stamped by accident, overlooked by millions, and discovered by the few who dare to look closer. The 1984 no-mint mark double-deer Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It's a reminder of what's possible when chance, rarity, and timing collide. It's proof that history can slip through your fingers and into your life when you least expect it. And if someone out there could pull a $344,000 penny from a pile of forgotten change, why couldn't it be you? So check your coins. Look carefully. Search every 1984 cent you find. Because the next person to uncover one of these rare treasures might just walk into a life-changing discovery. Imagine reaching into your pocket and discovering a coin that could instantly transform your life. Not a shiny silver dollar or a rare collectible tucked away in an attic, but a humble, overlooked penny. Specifically, a 1989 Lincoln cent, one that might seem ordinary to the casual eye, but to the trained collector, it could be nothing short of a jackpot. And I'm not talking a few $1,000s. I'm talking hundreds of thousands, even millions. Yes, you heard that right. A coin from 1989, most of which were tossed into piggy banks, lost in couches, or jangled in register drawers, can hold a fortune. But how can a single cent, a coin most of us barely notice, command prices that rival luxury cars? What secret hides in the smallest details that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? It starts with a twist in the minting process, a flaw so subtle most people will never see it. Collectors call them errors, but they are far more than mistakes. They are golden tickets. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is famous for a series of these rare errors, each one creating a ripple of excitement through the coin collecting world. Double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks can transform a coin from everyday pocket change into a collector's treasure, capable of fetching jaw-dropping sums at auction. And these aren't hypothetical numbers. In top condition, some of these pennies have been reported to sell for as much as $544,000. Consider this. In a world where a roll of pennies is worth just a couple of dollars, one single coin could make someone a millionaire. 1 penny. Your coffee money, your pocket change, suddenly, it's a ticket to a life you've only dreamed of. So, how do you know if the penny in your hand is ordinary, or the kind that sends shockwaves through the numismatic community? Start with the mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. No mint mark means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. On its own, that's not rare. But when paired with certain errors, particularly doubled dies or striking anomalies, it becomes a different story. Look closely at the lettering on Liberty and the date. Are the letters thickened? Stretched? Do the numbers wobble or appear as if shadowed? These are the signs collectors search for, the subtle fingerprints of fortune. And here's the kicker: even seasoned collectors sometimes miss these details. They require a trained eye, patience, and a little bit of luck. The coin's condition, its luster, its scratches, its very survival over 3 decades, can make the difference between a few $100s and $500,000. In the world of rare pennies, quality isn't just important, it's everything. Let's step into the world of real-life discoveries. Imagine someone sorting through a stack of pocket change, brushing off dust from a small copper disc, and seeing it under a magnifying glass. At first glance, it's just a 1989 Lincoln cent. But then, something clicks. The doubling on the date is unmistakable. The shadows on the letters are sharp and precise. It's a no mint mark, top condition gem. Heart racing, palms sweating, they realize the coin in their hand is worth $544,000. Just like that, life as they know it changes forever. You might wonder, how can the market sustain prices like this for a coin so recent? It's all about rarity and demand. Millions of Lincoln cents were minted in 1989, yes, but only a tiny fraction carry the errors that make them coveted by collectors. Scarcity drives desire. When a rare coin hits the auction block, the bidding can explode in minutes, fueled by collectors who understand its true value. And each sale sets a precedent, a public benchmark confirming that yes, these pennies aren't just valuable, they are extraordinary. But it's not just about money. Owning a 1989 no mint mark Lincoln cent is owning a piece of history. It's a tangible link to the past, to a moment when the press struck the coin just slightly off kilter, when the hands of time pressed a tiny imperfection into copper. To a collector, that imperfection isn't a flaw, it's the magic, the rarity, the story that elevates a coin from simple currency to a near mythical artifact. And here's a truth that will make you look twice at every penny in your pocket. This coin could be hiding in plain sight. In a jar on a shelf. In your car's cup holder. Even in your wallet right now. The next life-changing discovery doesn't have to be hidden in a safe or buried in the ground. It could be closer than you think. So what's the takeaway? Every penny has potential, but only the rarest, the ones with these hidden errors, can become legends. If you're patient, observant, and ready to spot what others overlook, the rewards are unimaginable. One coin, carefully preserved, one error noticed at the right time, could redefine your future. Let your mind wander for a moment. Imagine holding a coin that could fund a dream, pay off debts, or even change your life entirely. Imagine the thrill of discovery, the excitement of realizing that the ordinary in your pocket is actually extraordinary. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just a coin, it's a whisper of possibility, a challenge to the curious, a golden promise waiting to be unlocked. But remember, the clock ticks for no one. These coins are rare, and the market never sleeps. Every year, collectors search, inspect, and bid, and each passing moment could mean another hidden treasure is discovered, another auction ends, and another opportunity slips away. The question isn't if a 1989 no mint mark Lincoln cent can make someone rich, it's whether you're looking closely enough to find it first. So next time you reach into your pocket, your purse, or the bottom of a jar, pause. Look closely at that seemingly ordinary penny. Study it. Examine it. You could be holding the kind of coin that turns history into fortune, a simple cent into a story worth telling for generations. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just copper, it's possibility. It's suspense. It's the kind of secret that changes lives overnight. And today, that secret might be waiting for you. Could this be the day you find it? Could this be the penny that transforms your world? Imagine holding a coin in your hand, something you've passed over 1,000 times in your life. A simple penny, ordinary in appearance, unremarkable to the casual eye. But what if I told you that within this very coin could lie a fortune so extraordinary it could change your life forever? A single cent, minted in 1967, no mint mark, hiding secrets that have stunned collectors across the nation, and made some people millions. This is the story of the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin that is not just currency, but a potential golden ticket. At first glance, it looks like every other penny minted in the late 60s. But the truth is, some of these coins are far from ordinary. The key lies in the details, the hidden errors, the subtle anomalies, the quirks that few notice but experts pay fortunes for. Did you know that a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent can fetch prices in the six figures? That's right. Top condition examples of this penny have reportedly sold for as much as $244,000. Yes, nearly $250,000 for a coin that most people would barely glance at in their pocket change. So what makes this coin so special? The answer lies in its errors. These are not your typical, run-of-the-mill minting mistakes. We're talking about doubled dies, repunched mint marks that shouldn't even exist, off-center strikes, and rare die cracks. Each imperfection is like a fingerprint, a unique signature that can make an ordinary penny transform into a prize that collectors will fight tooth and nail to acquire. But here's the twist: unlike some other coins, the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent was produced during a year when the U.S. Mint was experimenting. They were testing new production techniques, adjusting dies, trying to perfect the penny's design. In the process, they inadvertently created a coin that was destined to become one of the most sought after in modern numismatics. Think about it. How many coins have you ever held that could realistically be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Could one of the pennies in your own pocket be hiding a secret this valuable? The mere thought sends a shiver down the spine of every coin enthusiast, every collector, every ordinary person who's ever dreamed of stumbling onto a life-changing discovery. Let's dive into the specifics. One of the most famous errors associated with this penny is the doubled die obverse. On some specimens, the date appears slightly doubled, almost ghostly, like an echo from another dimension. To the untrained eye, it's subtle, almost imperceptible. But to collectors, it's pure magic. And then there's the potential for die cracks, tiny fissures in the metal that can form dramatic lines across the coin's surface. Some are faint, some are bold enough to almost form a map of uncharted territories. And here's the kicker: these errors are extremely rare. Not every 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent has them. That's what makes the hunt so thrilling. It's a coin-chasing adventure where patience, attention to detail, and a little bit of luck can literally pay off in unimaginable ways. Now imagine yourself at a garage sale, at the grocery store, or rummaging through an old jar of pennies in your attic. You flip through coins casually, and suddenly, your eye catches something different. Something that calls for a second glance. That subtle doubling, that strange gleam, that almost imperceptible crack, it's the moment your life could change. Could this be the one? Could this be the $244,000 coin? You might be thinking. It sounds incredible, but how do I even know if I have a real one? And that's exactly what makes this story so suspenseful. Authentication is critical. A professional grading service can reveal the truth, confirming whether your penny is a collectible marvel or just a regular coin. But those who have discovered a genuine 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent with rare errors know the thrill is unlike anything else. Every minor detail becomes monumental. Every small anomaly could be your ticket to wealth. Here's another twist. The market for these coins is not just driven by rarity, but by human desire. The stories behind these coins, the families who unearthed them, the collectors who fought to acquire them, the auctions that turned ordinary change into life-altering money, add layers of intrigue and drama. A coin isn't just metal, it's a story, a treasure, a secret waiting to be revealed. And the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln cent is a masterclass in that drama. Now, consider the numbers. You might own a coin with a retail face value of 1 cent. One single penny. And yet, some examples of this coin, when sold in peak condition, have commanded prices approaching $250,000. That's right, $244,000 for a single coin. That's more than most people make in a lifetime of savings, condensed into a piece of copper and zinc barely an inch wide. The sheer possibility is electrifying, and yet, the opportunity is fleeting. The truth is, these coins are exceedingly rare. Many collectors have spent years searching, scouring flea markets, coin rolls, and estate sales, hoping for that one extraordinary find. The hunt is relentless, the stakes are high, and the potential reward is unimaginable. So, what's stopping you? Could the jar of pennies on your counter hold a secret worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Could you be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it? This is the thrill of coin collecting at its finest, the moment where ordinary life intersects with extraordinary possibility. And with the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, that intersection could happen at any second, anywhere. Picture the climactic moment. You slide your hand into a dusty old coin roll. 1, 2, 3 pennies, and then it catches your eye. The doubling, the subtle crack, the gleam of rarity. Your heart races. Could this be real? Could this small, unassuming penny be worth a life-changing sum? You take it to a professional, and the answer comes back, authenticated, graded, a true numismatic treasure. Suddenly your world shifts. Dreams that once seemed distant are now within reach. Your ordinary life has intersected with extraordinary fortune, all because of a single, seemingly mundane coin. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln cent isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility. Proof that adventure and wealth can hide in the most unexpected places. It reminds us that even in the everyday, in the coins we pass over, there can be magic. There can be treasure. And yes, there can be millions waiting for those who notice the details, seize the opportunity, and act before it's gone. So the next time you reach for a penny, think twice. Because one of those small discs of metal could be hiding a secret that transforms your life forever. A secret waiting for discovery. A secret that could make you the next collector to uncover a fortune in the most unlikely of places. Imagine this: you're sifting through your loose change, maybe a few pennies rolling across the table, when suddenly one glimmers differently in the light. You pick it up, examining the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, but something feels off. Could this ordinary coin, the kind you've spent countless cents without a second thought, secretly be worth a fortune, enough to change your life forever? What if I told you that one 2060 mint mark Lincoln cent could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth? That some of these coins have sold for nearly $750,000 in pristine condition? And the truth is, most people have no idea they're sitting on these treasures. This isn't a story about luck, it's a story about discovery, about hidden errors and secret value that the average collector, or even the casual spender, would overlook. The 2060 Lincoln cent isn't just another coin. On the surface, it looks ordinary, minted with precision, stamped with the classic D for Denver. But hidden within its copper-plated zinc core are rare errors so elusive that even seasoned collectors can miss them. Let's dive deeper. The 2060 Lincoln cent is infamous among numismatists for a few mind-blowing variations, double dies, off-center strikes, and in some astonishing cases, what experts call misaligned planchets. Imagine holding a coin where the obverse and reverse images don't line up correctly, a flaw so rare that collectors chase it like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And when these coins surface in top condition, the numbers are jaw-dropping. Reports suggest that certain specimens of this very coin have fetched as much as $744,000 at auction. Just one piece, tucked away unnoticed in a jar or a forgotten drawer, could be your key to instant wealth. You might be thinking, how is this even possible in a coin minted in 2006? Isn't that just yesterday? But that's exactly what makes this coin so deceptive. Unlike ancient coins where rarity is expected, the 2060 Lincoln cent proves that even modern currency can hold secrets worth millions. Errors that seem small, nearly invisible to the untrained eye, can create astronomical value. One subtle doubling of Lincoln's profile, one faint misstrike, or even a slight anomaly in the min mark, can transform a coin from ordinary to legendary. Now, here's where the suspense thickens. These coins are not cataloged in massive numbers in auction houses. They slip through the cracks, often discovered in circulation by ordinary people just like you. In some reported cases, collectors have purchased rolls of pennies, meticulously examined each coin under magnification, and discovered that their seemingly common 2060 cent was actually a rarefied error worth 6 or even 7 figures. Think about that for a moment. A coin you could have found in your kid's piggy bank or in the bottom of a purse could, in theory, be your golden ticket. Wouldn't you want to know if one of these coins is lying right under your nose? But the thrill doesn't stop there. What makes the 2060 cent even more enticing is its documented market performance. Top condition examples have consistently drawn massive attention at auctions. Collectors have reportedly paid $200,000, $500,000, and in the most extreme, the staggering $744,000 for a single coin that perfectly exhibits these hidden errors. Imagine the adrenaline of seeing your coin listed for sale, knowing you just stumbled upon something that can transform your financial life overnight. This isn't fantasy, it's a tangible, documented reality in the world of rare coins. You might wonder, what exactly makes these coins so valuable? It's all about rarity, condition, and the nature of the error. Coins like the 2060 Lincoln cent exist in a delicate balance. They must survive in near-perfect condition, preserve the defining mint mark, and exhibit a flaw significant enough to excite collectors but subtle enough to evade mass detection. That perfect storm is rare, which explains why the market values these coins so highly. Each minting error becomes a signature of rarity, a hallmark of potential wealth hidden within the palm of your hand. But here's the question that will haunt you until you check your change. How many of these coins are hiding in plain sight? Could that small pile of pennies in your drawer or that loose change in your wallet be harboring a 2060 mint mark Lincoln cent worth 6 or even 7 figures? Every coin you casually toss into a jar could be hiding a secret. And that secret has the power to rewrite your financial story. Consider this. While the majority of coins from 2006 circulate without incident, it only takes one rare misstrike to make history. The next time you handle pennies, examine them carefully. Look for anything unusual, doubled letters, off-center impressions, or a mint mark that seems slightly misaligned. Even small details can hold immense value. And remember, the true value of these coins isn't just in their metal or face value. It's in the story they carry, the rarity, and the potential for life-changing discovery. Now, imagine for a moment the feeling of finding one of these coins. The initial disbelief, the double take as your eyes adjust to what you're holding. The surge of adrenaline as you realize this isn't just a penny, this is history, rarity, and fortune, all rolled into one. Could a single coin really be worth $744,000? The evidence says yes. And history shows that ordinary people, often unaware of the goldmine in their hands, have stumbled into wealth simply by recognizing what most overlooked. By now, the question isn't if you should check your coins, it's when. Every handful of pennies could contain a masterpiece in disguise, a 2060 Lincoln cent with a hidden error that makes collectors clamorous with desire. The stakes are real, the rewards monumental, and the thrill? Unparalleled. This is the kind of opportunity that doesn't knock twice. So here's the final, urgent thought. Take a closer look at your coins. Don't dismiss them as pocket change. Study them under light, examine every detail, and never underestimate the power of a rare minting error. Because one day, one person, just like you, will reach into a drawer, lift up a simple 2060 Lincoln cent, and realize that their life is about to change forever. Could that person be you? The world of coin collecting is filled with stories of ordinary people becoming instant millionaires with a single, overlooked coin. The 2060 Lincoln cent is not just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden opportunity, waiting for the right eyes to uncover it. And once you find it, once you recognize its rarity and its potential, there's no turning back. Your story, your fortune, your moment of discovery, all hinge on paying attention, looking closer, and daring to imagine that ordinary change could hold extraordinary value. So the next time you reach for a penny, remember, history is minted in small details, and fortune often hides in plain sight. Will you be the one to discover it? Will your hands hold the coin that others only dream about? The 2060 Lincoln cent isn't just change, it's a whisper of possibility, a spark of wealth, and perhaps, the start of your extraordinary story.